Hey guys, Dr. David Jockers here, and today we're talking about the top 10 supplements to improve your brain. So we're talking about improving your memory, your mindset, your mood, so you can be happier, so you can think sharper, have better cognitive acceleration, be able to adapt and react quicker and more effectively on a daily basis. We're also talking about overall, just really feeling great and living your life at your highest level. And so here are some supplements. There's a lot of supplements I could talk about. Try to narrow it down to my top 10. So number one on my list is vitamin D. And you probably heard of vitamin D in the past, right? It's huge. In fact, we know that vitamin D is actually incorrectly named. It shouldn't really be a vitamin. It should actually be called a hormone, or what we call a prohormone, because it actually helps stimulate the production of hormones. So vitamin D plays a role in over 1,000 genes in our body. That's a huge, huge impact. In fact, in the brain, we find vitamin D receptors all over a region of our brain called our hippocampus, which is where we store memories. That's where we create short-term, long-term memories in that hippocampus. So extremely powerful for brain function and memory, absolutely huge. On top of that, research has shown that vitamin D helps stimulate the production of neurotransmitters, helps stimulate neural growth, so nerve cells, right, or brain cell growth, and helps with improving what we call synaptic density, or the little gaps between neurons where the neurochemicals, in a sense, interact. The communication takes place. That's huge for overall high-level brain function, cognitive acceleration, being creative, really important for all of those things. So basically they did a study, this one right here was 2009, it was done in England, and what they did was they took adults, 3,100 different adult men between the ages of 40 and 79 from 8 different countries in Europe. So huge study where they took people from all different geographical areas in Europe. And what they found was that these men who had the lowest levels of vitamin D, they actually had slower cognitive acceleration, right? So meaning that their brain function was much slower, and they were at much greater risk for developing things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and different things like that. So significant. So there was another study that they did, and this is published in 2010 in the Archives of Internal Medicine. And they took a group of men, and what they found was that the individuals that had a vitamin D deficiency between 20 and 30 nanograms per milliliter, so if you were to get your vitamin D tested, you could actually see where your level is, and if you're in that range, I see it all the time looking at different patients' blood work, those individuals had a 42% greater likelihood of developing cognitive impairment, meaning that, in a sense, their brain was impaired, like brain damage in a sense, to where they couldn't think sharp, they couldn't really react and do things effectively. Then they looked at the adults that had 19 nanograms per milliliter or less, like severely deficient. And what they found was that they had a 394% increase in cognitive impairment. That is huge, right? So we look at that, we realize vitamin D just plays such a critical role in our brain function, our ability to think sharply, quickly, to react quickly, to store memories. You know what? If we want to age effectively, if we want to perform effectively today, we need to make sure our vitamin D levels are optimized. You can get your vitamin D levels tested. You can get out in the sun on a regular basis. I recommend doing sunbathing once or twice a week, right? Making sure you're getting, in a sense, trying to build a little tan or getting a little bit pink. You obviously don't want to get sunburned, but getting out there. You can also supplement. You know, I'm a big fan of doing vitamin D supplementation. I recommend 1,000 international units per 25 pounds of body weight. It's a great idea, a great way to do it. Vitamin D is fat soluble, so always take it with food. You always want to take it with food. Okay, ideally early in the day because it's slightly stimulating. So that's a great idea there with the vitamin D. My second supplement is fish oil. So we know that omega-3s, particularly the long-chain omega-3s, EPA and DHA, are extremely powerful for neuron function, for developing neurotransmitters, for storing memories. These are omega-3s we can't get from things like flax seeds. Flax seeds are a small-chain omega-3, and we only convert anywhere from 6 to 10% of the small-chain omega-3 over to EPA and DHA. So you get a very small percentage of conversion. Much better to go ahead, eat wild-caught salmon, use a quality filtered, molecularly distilled omega-3 supplement that's rich in EPA and DHA, and that will dramatically improve your brain, your mood, your memory, your cognitive acceleration. I recommend starting out with about 1 to 2 grams a day. Always take it with food. It's fat soluble. You want to take that with food. And you can start with 1 to 2 grams a day. You can move up to about 3 to 5 grams a day. In fact, when I'm working with individuals with depression, ADHD, neurodegenerative conditions like dementia and Alzheimer's, I'm usually doing 3 to 5 grams, sometimes even up to 7 to 10 grams a day, and seeing really good results with that. So fish oil, amazing. Third supplement we're talking about is probiotics. We know that the gut, your digestive system, your gut, it's called the second brain. We actually produce 90 to 95% of our neurotransmitters, even though they're called neuro, meaning that we think of it as far as the nerve system in the brain, we actually produce 90 to 95% in the gut. And there's direct connections between the gut and the brain. We know that kids with ADHD, kids with autism, adults with neurodegenerative conditions, basically they all have a bad microbiome, a bad bacterial balance, and it's causing hyperexcitability in their brain. Anxiety, very much linked with that. So we've got to take care of our gut, getting good gut bacteria, things like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, getting the right strains, the right quantities in there. So supplementing with a good probiotic can make all the world a difference. It can help produce B vitamins. It's actually the best way to get B vitamins is actually with a healthy gut. It produces B vitamins that help regulate brain function. It also helps reduce the amount of toxic chemicals, in a sense, neurotoxic chemicals that are released from our digestive system. Bad bacteria, yeast, parasites, oftentimes will secrete toxins that damage our brain. Good bacteria help crowd them out, get rid of those bad guys, and help secrete good stuff. I always tell my patients that parasites, bad bacteria, they eat our nutrients, they steal our nutrients, and they produce toxins that damage our body. Whereas good bacteria, the good guys, the probiotics, they go ahead, they eat toxins, so they get rid of toxins, and then they produce B vitamins and all kinds of great nutrients that support our bodies. So probiotics, super key. Another one is magnesium. Magnesium is extremely important for overall function. In fact, a lot of researchers say magnesium to the brain and to the body is kind of like oil to the car. We need 1 to 2 grams of magnesium a day from either our diet or from supplementation in order to do all of our vital functions. And most people in society are actually magnesium deficiency. If you're out there and you're suffering with ADHD, anxiety, trouble sleeping like insomnia, definitely magnesium can be absolutely huge for that. And so magnesium helps actually with the blood-brain barrier. It helps protect the blood-brain barrier. It's kind of the blockade. The more that we can, in a sense, keep that blood-brain barrier tight and impermeable to toxins like mercury and aluminum and pesticides and all kinds of stuff like that that may be in our system, the better our brain is going to function, the less inflammatory damage we're going to have in our brain. Magnesium's key for that. You can also get types of magnesium that cross the blood-brain barrier and reduce the effects of stress hormone production in our brain, which will help us sleep better, which help us with better focus, better thinking processes. The type of magnesium that does best at crossing the blood-brain barrier is called magnesium threonate. Magnesium threonate. I use a product, it's called Brain Calm Magnesium. It's one of my favorite products to put my clients on. I see tremendous results. People sleeping better, less anxiety, thinking sharper, less ADHD. Overall, just better cognitive function, better memory. And it's one of my go-tos. I use it on a daily basis for optimal performance. So it's loaded. It's got 1 gram of magnesium L-threonate in each serving, each small serving. And it tastes good. It's a little kind of like a little punch drink that you can drink throughout the day to help your body adapt to stress, help protect your blood-brain barrier, and to help, in a sense, help you focus and think sharply, or at night to help you fall asleep more effectively. So magnesium, super key. We definitely want to be doing that. Next one is B12. We know B12 actually helps with the production of myelin, which actually surrounds nerve cells, right? So it actually surrounds nerves. In fact, we hear about things like multiple sclerosis where we've got damage and destruction to the myelin sheath. Well, B12 is critical with that. B12 is super key for helping our body conduct nerve signals throughout the body. In fact, some of the signs of B12 deficiency, number one sign is fatigue, right? Because we're just getting poor neurological function. We're not producing enough energy. Another sign is neuropathy, right? So we might feel numbness and tingling in our hands. I hear that from patients all the time. And I'm thinking, okay, this could be diabetes. It could be nerve stress or subluxation, pinching the nerve in the spine. Could also be a B12 deficiency. Those are like the top 3 things I think of. And very commonly I see issues with B12. One of the reasons why we see so much deficiency in B12 is because we need good stomach acid to absorb B12 from our diet. And what we know is that as we age, we get lower and lower levels of stomach acid. But you know what? I see poor stomach acid in a lot of younger people as well, because we're constantly eating on the go. We're stressed out all the time. High stress and poor eating habits are gonna deplete your body's ability to produce healthy stomach acid, gonna cause you to have improper absorption of the B12, and therefore run at risk for B12 deficiency. So B12, super key, and for most people, when I supplement with B12, we'll do a dissolvable B12 that gets right in the bloodstream. They see immediate benefits, really impacts their brain, their energy, neurotransmitter formation, all different types of stuff. It is absolutely amazing. Next supplement we're talking about is called CoEnzyme Q10. CoEnzyme Q10 is within the mitochondria, or the little engine in all of our cells, right? The mitochondria produces the energy. Coenzyme Q10 is an antioxidant and actually helps form energy within the mitochondria. So what we find is that individuals, especially as we age, very deficient in coenzyme Q10, supplementing with that has been shown to have dramatic effects overall on the brain. Another one that we're talking about is called N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine. And this actually helps boost something called glutathione. And glutathione is our body's master antioxidant. And so glutathione has been shown to improve things like depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, Alzheimer's. If we're developing issues like that, that's actually a sign of glutathione deficiency. The body itself is not able to protect the DNA. We end up with genetic mutations and genetic abnormalities that take place because we're glutathione deficient. So N-acetylcysteine is a precursor to glutathione. It's been shown to have dramatic results with all those types of conditions. It also helps protect the brain from inflammation, inflammatory stress, and heavy metals like mercury and aluminum. We see mercury as a common issue with a lot of different neurological problems. Alzheimer's, we find aluminum within the damaged brain cells. We find aluminum with Alzheimer's. So this is going to help protect against that. Next supplement we're talking about is zinc. And zinc is super key, and we see a lot of people deficient in zinc. Again, we need good stomach acid to produce the zinc, so it's similar to the B12 issues. And zinc is really good for reducing inflammation in the body. Very key for producing dopamine, which helps give us focus and energy and goal setting. Zinc also helps produce serotonin, which helps calm us, right? Relax us, helps reduce pain in our body. And serotonin converts into melatonin, which helps us sleep. So when people have zinc deficiencies, oftentimes they have a lot of trouble sleeping and getting into a deep sleep, which affects their overall health. Zinc is super key. Lots of research out there showing how zinc improves ADHD, depression, mood disorders, as well as neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia. And the last supplement we're going to talk about is something called alpha-lipoic acid. And alpha-lipoic acid, really powerful overall for brain chemistry. And alpha-lipoic acid actually it's unique because it's both fat soluble and water soluble. So it crosses in and out of different organs like our brain, because our brain is mostly fat. So it crosses right into the brain, the brain cells, can cross out, and very powerful effects at scavenging free radicals. So it reduces oxidative stress. It's also really good at chelating and pulling things like mercury out of the body. So we love alpha-lipoic acid. It's really, really good. And actually, one more bonus supplement that I forgot, it's called phosphatidylserine. And phosphatidylserine is actually a really powerful nutrient that, in a sense, is super powerful. So believe it or not, it's hard to believe, but our ancestors actually, when they would kill an animal, they used to eat the whole animal, including the brain. And we look at animal brain, it's loaded with phosphatidylserine. And so obviously today we're not eating brain, but we can supplement with this. And phosphatidylserine is incredible. In fact, they did a study, 2014 study, and what they actually showed, they gave a number of kids 200 milligrams of phosphatidylserine a day for 2 months. And what they found is that these kids had significant improvements in symptoms of ADHD, academic performance, overall mood and behavior. Lots of studies on phosphatidylserine. It's something I take personally on a regular basis. Really, really profound. If you're looking for a supplement that combines a lot of these things, I have a supplement called Brain Supercharge. It uses coenzyme Q10, alpha-lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine, phosphatidylserine, a bunch of these things that we just talked about, kind of in clinical dosages that really give a dramatic benefit. Something I use personally to help me perform at an extremely high level, and I recommend it for all my high performers. If you're out there, you want to You wanna be a better student, you wanna be a better leader, better manager, a better parent. I mean, if you just wanna perform at a higher level, that's definitely something good to look into. But I would start with a core of things like omega-3s, vitamin D, probiotics, magnesium, zinc. That would be more of our core. Then we can move into a specialized supplement like a brain supercharge if you're ready to take things to the next level once you got the basics under control. So that's what we're talking about there. These are powerful supplements to help improve your brain function. So hopefully you get a lot out of this. If you're using one of these supplements and you've seen changes in your brain, please leave a comment. Let us know what you have noticed, so that way we can have a discussion and really learn from each other as we're experimenting and using these kinds of supplements to improve our brain and our body. We'll see you next time on our next video.